güzel kalemle. Bir sıkıntı yoktu. Ben bir 5 slaytlık bir şeyle bir şey sizi tanıtacağım. Ondan sonra size vereceğim mikrofonu. Öyle bir kurgu düşündük. Arkadan da 3 konuşmacımız sırayla. En sonunda da soru cevabı alacağız.
Ben belki işte 2,5-3'e çeyrek kala falan ayrılacağım. 3'te İstanbul Sanayi Odası'yla bir toplantı olacak. Ama bizim arkadaşlar etkin bir şekilde, yani TEİDEP tarafı özellikle katılım gösterecek. Çünkü sürecin özellikle uçtan uça olması noktası, yani temel araştırmadan direkt hızlandırıcı yaklaşımına kadar. O yüzden biz de süreçlerimizi esasında şu an üzerinde konuştuğumuz bir çerçeve. Yani EIC'nin biraz aklın yolu bir noktasında. O yüzden arkadaşlarımız aktif bir şekilde toplantıya katılım gösterecekler.
Teşekkür ederiz. Biz zaten NCP olan Merve Hanım'la da iletişim içinde yürüttük süreci.
Farklı bir ekran geldi şu an karşımıza bizim.
Evet.
Tamam, şimdi oldu.
Görünüyor değil mi?
Evet, gözüküyor. Görünüyor.
Hocam siz tamam deyince başlayalım. 70-80 kişideyiz galiba.
Biz size tabiiz, ev sahibine. Buyurunuz hocam, biz yani sizlere tabiiz.
Sizi çok vakit geçirmeyelim diye. Öncelikle Türkçe herkese bir teşekkür ediyorum katılımları için. Hoş geldiniz diyorum ve İngilizceye dönüyorum. Welcome to all of our participants, particularly to our lecturers from the Commission. We really appreciate their participation and their contributions to this event. Today we will be talking about, as you all know, access to funds for the future, especially the EIC program of the Commission. I am the director of Sabancı University Nanotechnology Center, which is a center of excellence under Law 6550. In our proposal to the Commission, we particularly wanted to emphasize this is going to be an event targeting the researchers in these centers. So I will give you a general overview about the law which supports the research infrastructures in the country. It is a performance-based support system established through a secondary legislation, and it defines selected research centers established within Turkish universities as centers of excellence to support these research infrastructures to improve their utilization efficiency through financial and administrative reforms, enabling sustainability in the long run. And it offers a more flexible and competent administrative system for effective management, employment of qualified personnel, sustainable financial structure, and collaborations. Currently, there are 7 national research infrastructure centers within the country. 4 are more mature, 3 have just joined the list. They all house high caliber researchers and infrastructure for multidisciplinary and cross-disciplinary research. And they are funded by the Ministry of Industry and Technology fundamentally at this moment. Sunum, which I represent, is one of them. And research in Sunum focuses on nanomaterials, nanostructures, and nanosystems for applications of nanobiotechnologies and energy, to sum it up. It is a center that was established in 2010 by support from the Ministry of Development at the time and Sabancı Foundation. And in 2016, it was selected as one of the 4 primary research infrastructures, subsequent to a very competitive screening process. And as of 2017, we've been going through a transition from an academic research center to a focused, sustainable center for creating socioeconomic added value. So of course, this required a paradigm change in vision implementation between basic and applied research, trying to maximize institutional potential and that of its researchers, and adapting to evolving customer needs and requirements. So we've been changing from a technology push to a market pull type of research activities. And for that, we've gone through we've developed some tailored tools, such as collaborative efforts and strategic partnerships with industry. We are trying to use shared resources with our stakeholders, and we put a lot of emphasis on internationalization. Of course, knowledge exchange, knowledge transfer and commercialization sits right at the heart of the whole procedure. We've developed new marketing strategies and business models, such as an e-store where we market the results of our research projects. And we also have some special supports for startups. One of them, a good example, will be launched on August the 1st. We've titled it Spin Sunum. It is a support for deep tech startups with Sunum tools and facilities, targeting companies with nanoscale technologies at the core of their business. And we would like to support these ventures in their early stages to speed up their access to market without making the initial investment for R&D facilities and so on. So Sunum's facilities will be there available for them. Sunum's researchers will be providing consultancy so that we speed up their product development stages. Of course, EIC programs offer very attractive possibilities for commercialization of research results, as we all know, and today's event will be continued with successive events for EIC success stories from Turkey, so that we encourage young entrepreneurs to apply to these funds, because the name Commission and EU funds is a bit frightening, and they all think that it is not easily reached. But if we can demonstrate that this is available, this program, throughout the success stories, it will become more dominant. Now, we are very honored to have Professor Hasan Mandal, President of TÜBİTAK, to make an opening speech to introduce this program. So I will, without wasting more time, I will hand over the microphone to him. And thank you again for coming and participating and contributing.
So, thank you.
Hocam, buyurun.
So thank you, Fazilet Hoca. So, I mean, dear director of the Sunum, and also dear representatives from the EIC, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. So as the president of the Scientific and Technological Research Council of Turkey, shortly TÜBİTAK, so it's a great pleasure to welcome all of you to this EIC Info Day event. So, and as the coordinating institution of the framework programs in Turkey, we give a great importance to coming together with our ecosystem, including today. And in this respect, I thank very much to Sunum to organizing this event. So it is a valuable event that is organized by Sunum, and we will be sharing the ways of realizing, advancing in the future technologies through the different opportunities that is provided by the EIC. And we see that the EIC is one of the most important components, especially for, Horizon Europe, including with other instruments, but especially for the Horizon Europe, we see that there's a great potential for, in terms of the novelty. And with this, it's a specific emphasis on deriving the deep technologies from idea to market. And this is also kind of an alignment with our national funding mechanism. So in this respect, we are not only attending this meeting as the coordinating institution, representing institution of Turkey as TÜBİTAK, but we are also learning, and also we are developing our system and aligning our system with the EIC, especially during the Horizon Europe programs. And in this respect, I am sure that our stakeholders, especially SMEs and startups, with highly innovative ideas at any level will find these opportunities to be of great interest. The National Coordination Office of the Framework Programs of TÜBİTAK will also provide a dedicated support in this process. So not only for, today and also for the follow-up programs. So we will be ready to give the all support. And as an introduction of these opportunities and provide their connection with the opportunities of our ecosystem. So I would like to share a short presentation on impact-oriented opportunities in EIC for emerging technologies. So I am just sharing the sorry. I think I need help from my team. One more. So
it was fine. We tried it.
Is that? I can't see my screen.
Previously, we did a tryout and it was fine. So maybe if you can email it to one of us.
I think that
it's here. It's here. It's
okay,
here.
I think now it's much clearer.
It's okay. Yeah.
So as I said, I put the title as the impact-oriented opportunities in EIC for emerging technologies. And so this is maybe a general overview of, especially from the representatives from the EIC, that our ecosystem, how we are trying to be governed in terms of, especially from moving from Horizon 2020 to Horizon Europe. So, and I am very pleased to, also share with our stakeholders and our colleagues from Turkey that in the case of the Horizon Europe, so the main motto is the co-creation. When we are facing with the challenges, it can only be possible by co-creation rather than the collaboration. So, and also the Sunum is, for example, from our side, is one of the co-creation centers, and it's already been explained by the Fazilet Hoca. So, and in this respect, so the co-creation in a respect of the knowledge creation, and also co-creation in terms of the developing the human resources. So during the last at least 3 years, I'm starting from 2018, we are changing our funding mechanism from input-oriented to the output and impact-oriented system. So this could be only possible by running the system. Of course, still continue for individual projects, but the changing the ecosystem from project-based to the more platform-based, and the platforms are responsible for a kind of a potential to challenging with the difficulties. And in this respect, so one of them is the Sunum, is running one of these platforms. This platform either could be a kind of a technology platform, which means that from the technology development side, in terms of the technology readiness level starting from 3 to 6, and other one for the product development, for another program is running, and this is called, from running from the technology readiness level from 6, 7 to the 9. And also some more recent programs is also named in here. So for the patent licensing program, and also bringing the knowledge creator and the knowledge user in the meantime. So these are all the type of programs. It's a kind of a changing the ecosystem from collaboration to the co-creation. And this is also the case in terms of the human development side. Either running the programs like in here is the industrial PhD program, or also attracting the researchers around the globe to come to Turkey to work in this research ecosystem for the co-creation. And so these are the areas, I mean, especially for the areas for these platforms. And you can see that, for example, during this COVID-19 challenge, so the drugs vaccine platform, I mean, is an ideal type of tool or solution to run this program, I mean, this challenging issue. And I mean, this at least one of our vaccines now is on, I mean, really ending the phase 2 stage on a newly developed virus-like particle type of vaccine, has been funded under one of these platforms. So this is, and within these platforms, for example, only with the I mean, vaccine and drug platforms for COVID-19, I mean, 436 researchers from 49 institutions come together to work on 17 individual projects. But all these projects are run by these platforms, and you can see some others. And as I said, one of them has already been running by Sunum. And in terms of our performance for the Horizon 2020, of course, we are learning and developing ourselves, and especially during the last, I mean, 2 and 3 years, changing our system from input to output and impact oriented, and also, I mean, changing also ecosystem to the more platform oriented approach, and aligning our systems with the European Commission. So you can see that I mean, our amount of the funded projects is reached to 300 million euro, so end of the Horizon 2020. So this is more than what we have been put into the Horizon 2020 system. And also, especially during the last 2 years, so the total number of coordination during the Horizon 2020 is 29, and only 22 of them has been funded during the last 2 years as the coordinating partner of these projects. And also a kind of a transition to the EIC from the SME instrument. So also you can see our performance. And so this is also showing a kind of an opportunity for, especially for the Horizon Europe. And this is, I am sure that we will hear more on, especially from the EIC side. But I mean, this is in a general picture for Horizon Europe. And we are challenging, I mean, we are focusing to addressing the systemic challenges. So these are, I mean, in either national or European or global sides. I mean, so we can see very clearly. And the solution is by co-creation. And also one of the instruments is the EIC. And in the other side also, in terms of the excellence science, in terms of the new knowledge creation by developing the human resources. And in terms of the EIC side, so as I said, we are, I mean, so an experience in terms of the SME instrument, and also during the, I mean, Horizon 2020 program in the last 2 years, on the, I mean, an EIC accelerator program, a kind of a learning path. But now, in the case of the Horizon Europe, there will be 3 new instruments, and the EIC Pathfinder, and EIC Transition, and EIC Accelerator. So these are all giving a kind of a, I mean, in terms of our aligning our national system, giving a good opportunity, and also giving a kind of a sign that, I mean, it's also giving a high risk and high gain type of projects will be considered in this perspective, especially in the EIC Pathfinder, and also in the case of the EIC Accelerator side. So this is also, I mean, it's going to be bringing the innovative ideas to the prototype level to the market. So from starting from the, I mean, basic science and high risk projects to the more to the, I mean, in terms of the ready to market side. So this is also kind of an opportunity when we are aligning our system in Turkey So it's giving a kind of the system of Horizon Europe on the EIC will be more kind of an opportunity in our national system, and the European funding mechanism will be more aligned, and we will be here more today. And it is giving an opportunity, and as I said, we'll be here more. But I mean, it's a kind of open to all areas, but also giving certain challenges. And at least for year 2021, so the areas for challenging areas for either Pathfinder, Transition, and Accelerator are given here. And so we can see what does it mean, especially for EIC Pathfinder. The type of areas is naming. So it is more deep science is needed. So this is, I think, is a good sign that, especially in our Turkish ecosystem, that it has been always asked from the TÜBİTAK side as well. So this type of projects also will be going to be considered. So, and also, I mean, the EIC Transition and EIC Accelerator. So it is also giving a kind of a TRL readiness level, starting from 2, 3 till 9 in a kind of another perspective in here. So this is exactly matching, aligning with our type of funding mechanism, which we have been especially developing during the last 2 or 3 years. And maybe a last message as well. So what type of key performance indicators? So it is a message, it should be named. And one of them is the supporting the impact-oriented companies. So it is more relevant to the UN SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. So this is, I think, is a kind of a message also, which, I mean, Turkey is working on it. So how we are aligning also our programs, our funding mechanisms with the SDGs. So this is one of the parameters has been said. So, I mean, so if we take a kind of a hint, so it is 90% of the type of projects or the calls will be relevant to also to the SDGs. And in the other side, so attracting 3 or 5 times more than the EIC fund amount. So the type of technology will be, I mean, attract at least 3 or 5 times, then the amount will be funded by the EIC. And in the other side, so ensuring the integrity across the EIC tools. So, I mean, this is looking for from one end to other end. I mean, from knowledge to the market. And also there is a kind of a new model of the BAC, I mean, Business Acceleration Service. So it's a kind of a mentoring service. And also another parameter is the gender issue. So, and it's also given a certain percentage. So at least 1/3 or 35% is going to be managed by the woman. And in this respect, so we can see type of suggestions and opportunities. And I am sure that we will hear to learn today more from our experts coming from the EIC. So once more, so I am very pleased to be also a part of this system, and our colleagues from TÜBİTAK side will be in your side for the follow-up process. And also, once more, we need, I mean, our message also in Turkey. So we need a future of the co-creation to achieve a smarter and more sustainable future. So I wish a very successful and fruitful meeting for today. And thank you very much for your attendance.
Thank you, Hocam, for this very valuable introduction. Without wasting any time, I will give the floor to Mr. Antonios Fisikidis. We tried. I hope you will not have any problems sharing your presentation.
Fazilet, is visible the presentation?
It's not visible at the moment. Yeah, no. This is Murphy's Law. We try in the tryout, it's fine. And in the real run.
Give me a second. Give me a second then. Give me a second. So let me see.
I think it's just a slow. Just wait a few seconds.
Yes, excellent.
Yeah, take it.
Thank
yes,
you.
okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Can I start, Fazilet?
Yes, please, please. We are very excited, waiting for your presentation.
So, dear President of the Scientific and Technology Research Council of Europe, dear Director of SUNUM, the Sabancı University Nanotechnology Research and Application Center, dear organizers and dear participants for this EIC Info Day, thank you very much for inviting myself and my colleagues in this event today to present the European Innovation Council major schemes. My name is Antonios Sekidis, I work at the EIC Pathfinder unit. In this presentation today, we will give you the main characteristics of the main three funding EIC schemes. The Pathfinder, this will be followed up with the presentation on the EIC transition, and then the last part of this presentation will be on the EIC accelerator. I will start with the very first part of this connections of funding schemes with the EIC Pathfinder. So what is the EIC Pathfinder? The EIC Pathfinder program funds research to develop give me a second, I have some difficulties in my screen. I need to stop. Give me a second. Because part of my screen is covered with the video, so I cannot fully access the presentation of the slides. Now you see the presentation fully or partly?
Partly. The other one was better.
Yes, of course. Okay, give me a second then. Because it's the setup with the videos, I cannot fully access the content of the presentation. So let me give me a second.
Just send the people to the bottom.
It's I'm trying to, but the Murphy's law, as we say, no. I will start without wasting any further time. So what is the EIC Pathfinder? The EIC Pathfinder is a program that funds research to develop the scientific basis to underpin breakthrough technologies. There are two basic funding schemes. The first one is the EIC Pathfinder Open, which funds a bottom-up approach with no predefined topics. It's the follow-up scheme from the FET Open that we had in the context of Horizon 2020. And now in Horizon Europe, we have not only the EIC Pathfinder Open, but also we have the EIC Pathfinder Challenges, which is the top-down, challenge-driven calls for tackling specific technology breakthroughs by portfolios of projects. Let's go to the first funding scheme, the EIC Pathfinder Open. So why somebody should apply to the Pathfinder Open? You should apply if you are looking for support to realize an ambitious vision for radical new technology with potential to create new markets and or to address global challenges. The EIC Pathfinder Open supports early stage development for such future technologies. That means various activities at low relevant technology readiness levels from 1 to 4, based on high risk, high gain science and technology breakthrough research, including the deep tech. The research must provide the foundation of the technology that you are envisioning. In the Pathfinder Open, we have gatekeepers, which are asking for collaborative interdisciplinary research that meets the following criteria, the following gatekeepers. The first one is a convincing long-term vision of a radically new technology that has the potential to have a transformative positive effect to our economy and society. The second Pathfinder Open gatekeeper is concrete, novel, and ambitious science towards technology breakthrough, providing advancement towards the envisioned technology. And the third gatekeeper is high risk and high gain research approach and methodology with concrete and plausible objectives. In the next slide, I have provide you an overview of the evaluation criteria. I'm not going to go into every evaluation criteria point by sub-criteria to sub-criteria, but I think it's necessary to read just the main headings because it gives to the interested applicants a good sense of how the proposals will be evaluated. So we have three evaluation criteria. We have excellence, impact, and quality and efficiency of the implementation. In the first criterion of excellence, which weighs with 60%, we are looking for long-term. We are assessing the long-term vision. We're assessing the science towards technology breakthrough. We're assessing objectives, and we're assessing the interdisciplinarity of the project. And in the second criterion, which is the impact, which weighs with 20% of the overall score, we are assessing the innovation potential and the communication and the dissemination of the project. And in the third one, we are assessing quality of the consortium. We're assessing the work plan, and we're assessing the allocation of resources. The quality and efficiency of the implementation is 20% of the overall scoring of the proposal. I go to the next slide on the expected outcomes. So the expected outcomes of an EIC Pathfinder project is a proof of principle that the main ideas of the envisioned future technologies are feasible, thus validating its scientific and technological basis. The EIC Pathfinder projects are expected to take the necessary measures to allow future uptake to take place, for instance, through an adequate formal protection of the intellectual property. And we are expecting that projects are encouraged to involve and empower in their teams key actors that have the potential to become future leaders in their fields, such as excellent early career researchers or promising high-tech SMEs, including startups. All of the above will strengthen Europe's capacity for exploiting the scientific discoveries made in Europe throughout the steps to market success or for solving global challenges. This is the timetable. This is the summary table for the call that we had. We have actually now in 2021. The total budget is 168. The evaluation is ongoing, as the deadline was 26th of May 2021. We have received a high number of proposals, and the panel proceedings, the final process of the evaluation will take place in September. The proposals are requested to submit proposals of up to 3 million euros. This is an indicative budget. If the proposals can justify, they can request more than 3 million euros in their proposals. Of course, the funding rate is 100% of eligible cost. The proposal should be 17-page length. Part B, part B is the scientific core, and part A is the administrative part. And in the consortium, we're looking for minimum 3 partners from 3 different member states or associated countries, of which at least 1 partner is based in a member state. With this, I think I have provided an overview of the EIC Pathfinder Open. I will proceed now to the EIC Pathfinder challenges, which is the top-down specific challenges-driven call that is actually now has actually opened a few days ago. So in 2021, according to the work program of the EIC, the challenges that we have is the first, the specific challenges is awareness inside. I will explain briefly for each challenge what does it mean. Then we have the tools to measure and stimulate activity in brain tissue. The third challenge is emerging technologies in cell and gene therapy. The fourth one is novel routes to green hydrogen production. And the fifth challenge is the engineered living materials. Why you should apply to these top-down Pathfinder challenges and not if you are interested on it. Because if you have an ambitious idea to realize the vision of a specific challenge, then this call may be for you. The project should contribute to the specific objectives, obviously, of this respective challenge. The EIC is particularly interested in your ideas for new deep technology that becomes possible thanks to cutting-edge science in an area of the specific challenge. We are seeking for new technological solutions at early stage development that are new and disrupt the standard practice up to this point in these five given challenges for 2021. In Pathfinder challenges, we have a portfolio approach. That means exploring different perspectives, competing approaches or complementary aspects of the challenge. In this approach, we also have multidisciplinary interactions and exchange for synergies and serendipity between the projects. And we are looking for that the projects that are selected will be contributing to an overarching medium to long-term business goal and technology-based strategic plan under the supervision of the EIC program manager. So in the EIC, one of the novelties that have been introduced is the role of the EIC program managers for specific technological areas who are monitoring the possible coordination wherever this is needed between projects of the same portfolio, especially in order to encourage any possible cross-fertilization and, of course, opportunities for serendipity. The projects that, of course, will be selected will participate in relevant portfolios. Now, each Pathfinder challenge is accompanied by a specific guide. These guides are documents that will provide more information about the specific goals of the challenge, including a detailed assessment of the state of the art and related existing projects in the field, technical information to underpin the objectives, potential societal, economical, environmental impacts if the objectives are achieved, as well as relevant references. The challenges are published when the call opened in 15th of June 2021 on the EIC website and on the funding and tender opportunities portal. So the call is open since the 15th of June, and I will tell you more about the overall identity of the call. So we are looking for proposals of up to 4 million. Again, this is indicative. If it is justified, project proposals can ask for more. The overall budget for 2021 in the challenge is 132 million. The deadline is 27th of October at 5 o'clock Central European Time. And the call is open since 15th of June. For the challenges, we are looking for proposal in part B, the scientific part of the proposal, of up to 27 pages proposal. Remember, in Pathfinder Open is 17 pages. In part B, it's 25. Applicants should be single. We have two options: either single legal entities in a member state or an associated country, there are conditions that are applied, and you need to see on regarding the status of the single legal entity. You need to see in the call. But we have also the possibility of consortia. If there are two partners, they should be from different member states or associated countries. Otherwise, minimum three partners from 3 different member states or associated countries, out of which one partner is in a member state, unless differently stated in the challenge chapter. So I would strongly encourage the interested applicants for the current challenges call to go through the call and the specific guides that we have provided. So I think with this, I have. Let me also, if we have time, let me also very briefly go through the specific challenges, because it may be of interest for the participants.
We have time.
Okay.
There's just one specific question. Will there be another call this year in 2021 after the May call?
There will be no call. There will be no call in 2021. The next calls will be in 2022. So we don't know exactly the dates when the deadlines when the call will be open. But I think sometime in the third or in the early fourth quarter of the year, the dates of opening and the deadlines of the calls will be open. Now, I think I can stop here, and maybe you can let me see why this Murphy's law. So you can see in the sharing of the slides more information about the 5 different challenges which are included in the current challenges call. Is this okay, Fazilet?
It's not in a presentation form.
I don't know why we have this issue.
Maybe if you could close the
do you see now what is written here?
We see, yeah. We also see some of the notes, but it's not important. Go ahead.
Okay, so
doesn't matter.
So shall I go through the specific calls, the specific challenges in more detail?
Yes, we have time. Yeah.
Okay, so the first call is the call, the specific challenge on awareness insight. So in this, the background is that awareness and conscience have been high on research agendas for decades. Most researchers would agree, though, that we do not have any truly aware artificial system yet, that awareness is much more than a sensorial sophistication, that it is much more than any artificial intelligence as we know it. What is it then that a user would expect from a service or a device that has awareness inside? Most scientific and philosophical accounts of awareness are based on a human subject perspective and at an individual level. This hinders the application of awareness as a measurable feature of any sufficiently complex system. New awareness concepts and engineering principles would allow a step up in engineering artificial systems, making them more resilient, self-developing and human-centric, allowing the coherent and purposeful behavior, learning, adaptation, and self-development of intelligent systems over longer periods of time. The challenge is only open to proposals for collaborative projects with at least 3 partners from the standard eligibility conditions. Now, the second proposals are expected to address each of the following 3 expected outcomes. First, new concepts of awareness that are applicable to systems other than human, with implications of how it can be recognized or measured. This will lead to better approaches for defining aspects of awareness over different temporal, spatial, biological, technological, and social scales. The second expected outcome is to demonstrate and validate the role and added value of such an awareness in an aware technology, class of artifacts, or services. The specific expected outcome is a proof of principle of technologies far beyond the current state of the art or a laboratory validated prototype. And the third expected outcome is define an integrative approach for awareness engineering, its technological toolbox, the needs and implication and its limits, including ethical and regulatory issues. You need to check again the work program for the specific conditions for this challenge, as well as the topic guide. Within each one of the specific challenges, there is a specific topic guide on the challenge. I will go now to the second top-down challenge, which is the tools to measure and stimulate activity on brain tissue. So what is the background in this challenge? That medical devices to measure and stimulate brain activity are emerging as tremendously powerful therapeutic tools that could revolutionize the treatment of brain diseases. Existing devices to restore normal patterns of brain activity by stimulation have limitations. Yet today, state-of-the-art microelectronics and microfabrication are potentially conducive to novel, more powerful, and more efficient neuro devices. Further, progress can also be achieved by the discovery of new physical principles for activity monitoring, invasive or non-invasive, and activity modulation. So the goal is to explore these opportunities and develop novel neuro devices that can rapidly accepted by clinicians and patients. The proposal submitted to this call should tackle at least one of the following two challenges. The first one is a full device with unique features, miniaturization, low latency, closed loop monitoring, stimulation if necessary, ultra low power consumption, low moderate invasiveness, high resolution, etc., targeting a currently untreated disorder, and new or nascent physical principles or methodologies that could be the basis for future brain sensing and or stimulation technologies with clear and quantifiable advantages. Focus is on the technologies that can offer unprecedented data on brain function or that allow unprecedented modulation of brain activity for therapeutic processes. Again, for this ongoing open call, you need to check the topic guide that is published with the challenge. I will go now to the third out of the 5 challenges, which is the one on emerging technologies in cell and gene therapy. So what is the issue that we have there? In EIC, strategically, we aim to advancing the domain of the cell and gene therapy from breakthrough discovery to the manufacturing step towards clinical grade by funding projects that propose effective, novel, concept-based technological solutions that go far beyond the current state of the art. We are looking also for reinforcing the competitive edge of critical components for the European cell and gene therapy community, such as leading research consortia, startups and spin-outs, in their ability to compete and sustain in this fiercely competitive field. Now, the proposals, disease-specific or non-disease specific, should focus on emerging technological solutions and/or platforms aimed to overcome the current cell and gene therapy challenges in one or several the areas of the following areas: advancing cell therapy manufacturing step towards clinical stage, improving adopting cell therapies beyond the current state of the art, identifying next generation effective cell therapies for cancer, applying cell therapy to treat cancer patients in a personalized manner, improving the effectiveness and lowering the risk of gene delivery systems, improving gene therapy manufacturing processes beyond the current state of the art. Your project must aim to deliver by its end at least one of the specific outcomes defined for this challenge. The gender dimension in research content should be taken into account where relevant. Again, you need to check the topic guide. I'm going now to the fourth of the 5 specific challenges, which is novel routes to green hydrogen production. The goal here is to develop novel processes and technologies to produce green hydrogen at different scales, from small to large, and with higher flexibility, entirely based on renewable sources and on the use of toxic-free, non-critical raw materials. It focuses on the potential of a new biological, chemical, and physical routes for green hydrogen production, adopting process circularity, possibly including the co-production of decarbonized chemicals and the integration with existing technologies at system and process level. The target here is to support the development of innovative technologies and platforms for green hydrogen production, including both centralized and/or demand generation. That means at the premises of the end users, or for on-site consumption. The outcome should be a proof of concept or lab-scale validated innovative green hydrogen production technology by biological, chemical, or physical routes without the deployment of fossil fuels, potentially including the use of salt or wastewater, organic waste, or the co-production of decarbonized chemicals. There are some strong recommendations, which is the multidisciplinarity and cross-sectoral approaches are particularly welcome. Proposals are strongly encouraged to consider the recovery and recycling of byproducts and waste in the context of the life cycle thinking and circular approach. And the use of toxic-free and non-critical raw materials is requested, and the project should include a full life cycle analysis of the proposed solutions and their impacts on Europe's decarbonization goals. Again, for this ongoing call, please check the topic guide. And now I'm going to the 5th and last top-down challenge that we have currently in this ongoing call. And this is the engineered living materials. What are the engineering living materials? These are materials composed either entirely biological ELMs or partly HLMs of living cells with a unique combination of properties: self-regeneration, adaptation to environmental clues, longevity, and environmental sustainability. ELMs have the potential to transform virtually every modern endeavor, from healthcare to infrastructures to transportation. The goal here is to position strategically Europe at the forefront of the engineering living materials field and to overcome the technological challenges and to harness the engineering potential of nature for materials production. The first objective is to support the development of new technologies and platforms, enabling the controlled production of made-on-demand living materials with multiple predictable dynamic functionalities, shapes, and scales. And the second objective is to build a community of researchers and innovators in ELMs. Regarding the team, integration of expertise, for example, in synthetic biology, materials engineering, control engineering, artificial intelligence, synthetic or engineered morphogenesis, as well as ethical, legal, and social aspects. There are 3 outcomes that are expected. The first outcome is a proof of principle of technologies far beyond the current state of the art, enabling the production of a minimum of 2 novel biological ELMs bigger than 1 centimeter in all dimensions by programmable or controlled synthetic or engineered morphogenesis, whether with eukaryotic or prokaryotic cells, or the second outcome, or a laboratory validated, automized, and computer-aided design, build, test, learn platform far beyond the current state of the art able to produce a minimum of 2 novel HLMs in multiple scales with enhanced or unprecedented properties. There are strong recommendations for the applicants. The first one is to consider multicellular ELMs. The second is to develop technologies that can be easily generalizable and adapted for the production of a broad range of ELMs from different cells. There is also the expectation that the project participants will collaborate and contribute to the wider ethical, societal, and regulatory debate for the engineered living materials. With this, I think I have reached at the end of this of the presentation, both of the Pathfinder Open and of the Pathfinder challenges. We went through a summary of the specific challenges that are online, that they are now open until October 27. For the Pathfinder Open, the evaluation, as I said, is ongoing. I would like to invite you to check, to have a look at the EIC Work Program 2021, where all the necessary information is there. Regarding the challenges, you need also to see the topic specific guide with more challenge specific information. I think we can stop here. I would like to thank you very much, and I will be later, of course, available to answer any questions regarding the Pathfinder component of the EIC.
Yes, thank you, Antonios, for a very interesting presentation. I'm sure our listeners have a number of questions. We will be collecting the questions from the chat box, and then at the end of the sessions, we will have a question and answer session where all the speakers can answer questions jointly. So without wasting any more time, I will pass the floor to Mr. Vika Kubik for the next presentation.
Thank you very much, Fazila. So just to set up the presentation.
Yeah, but let's start with slide 1. We're on slide 4.
This is better? Okay.
That's better. Thank you.
Thanks for introduction. Good afternoon to everyone once more. I will present you the second scheme within the European Innovation Council, this transition to innovation. And my name is Ivica Čubić, and I'm working for a transition unit. So according to the work program, we have also organizational unit that will follow that separate schemes. So just a slide about what I'm talking. Before starting, just if you want to ask something during the presentation, feel free, but otherwise we will also look at your question posed by the chat functionality and answer it after all presentations. So the short introduction to my presentation. So I will offer you a big picture just to put everything in a context. Then I will talk a little bit more about EIC transition. So here we have also open and challenges calls. Then this slide is quite important about different pathways of different track that you can follow in order to commercialize technology. Something about eligibility criteria and who can apply for this call. Then where you can find information sources about a slide about evaluation criteria and additional slide about the process. There is some novelty there comparing with our pilot in 2019. You will see also some additional support and opportunities that are prepared for EIC projects. And at the end, I will give a very short introduction and mostly overview of business acceleration services. That is also important part of the whole story. So let's start with the big picture. So I will give you an overview of all main calls, and I will do that in the coordinating system that we have readiness level, or famous technology readiness level. So separated in 3 different categories: mostly basic research, this transition effort to commercialize technologies, and then in the end we have TRL 6 and 9 are more for SME or for very mature type of technologies. And like in every scheme in EIC, we have challenges. So basically, that means that some topics are prescribed, and we have grassroots or open call for for the ideas and the innovation that is coming from researchers and proposers themselves. So the first scheme is Pathfinder. You can see by size of these bubbles the budget, and you can also see in figures. So it's but Antonio's already talked about this. Then the second scheme is the transition. So the budget is a bit smaller, and we have also open part and challenge part. And this huge bubbles comparing to others is for SME. And here you can see the last presentation just after this one will be in details about the accelerator component. But here you can see just the budget and its division between grants and investment. So you can all 4 combination between grants and investment. You can apply for that. In addition, I already mentioned business acceleration services. That is basically services is for all type of projects within the EIC. And we have also this special, this is also novelty ad hoc grants. We will see also a slide about that. And to put everything in the context, because you already on the slide can see the context according to the technology maturity level, but this famous curve of value of debt just to show you how it's positioning within the whole innovation life cycle. And this is the same bubbles, but in different order. Here you can see on the correct timelines. So you see that the Pathfinder open, it's already passed the call, but in front of us is the deadline for transition call is 22nd of September for both open and challenge scheme. And also Antonio mentioned already the Pathfinder challenges 27th of October is the deadline. And the second cutoff for accelerator scheme is 6th of October. So there is still a lot of calls in front of us. So let's back to the main topic of this presentation. So it's EIC transition. So here we have also open and challenges. And the important thing is basically it's the transition proposals should have a right mixture or between the research, or maybe better to say technology validation and additional testing, and business related activities. And the main intention is to try to use results and output from EIC early stage projects and technologies, and to try to push the technology and innovation toward the technology readiness levels 5 and 6 along the technology readiness level scale. So open funding, of course, supports all technologies, innovation and challenges. So here we will have only 2 challenges. So one is medical technology and devices from lab to patient, and the second challenge is energy harvesting and storage technology. You can see deadline for both open and challenge call is on the 22nd of September. And same eligibility criteria and evaluation process are valid for both schemes. And this slide is just 3 examples that we've seen as main track or path that you can take in order to commercialize your technology. It was already said in the presentation from Professor Mandal that in Turkey, with your initiative, you're trying to move from this technology push toward market pool principle, and this scheme is also showing some very similar approach. So transition technology will be most similar to the research projects, but now and this is more belong to this how we call it technology push, because this type of projects probably a consortium will try to further develop some strategic technologies and to make them ready for one application, or maybe even better to make it more generic and ready for more applications. And this is mostly related to the output of this, or business model for such kind of projects could be to license this kind of technology for different applications. So the second part will be transition to market, and this is for more mature innovation that is stemming from EIC projects. But maybe some SMEs or startups that is already participating in the project could see this innovation like fitting very well in its own portfolio, and then try to make immediately product out of this scientific result. So this is transition to market, and it's most appropriate for SMEs because they can start quite quickly. And the third one is especially interesting for researchers, because this pathway should support researchers that are willing to take entrepreneurship voyage. So basically, if you have some projects, if you have some result in EIC projects, and you personally see like opportunity to make a spin-off or startup, then this is exactly the EIC scheme for you. And then we call it transition to entrepreneurship, because it's behind that it's forming a new company and starting to commercialize results from a research project. As we've seen, all three pathways are have in mind deep tech or innovation and technology that is based or underpinned by a scientific research. This is just our example of three the most probable pathways if you are going to ask for this support, but any other approach that include combination of technology, of technological research and market aspects are valid and eligible, valid for this kind of EIC scheme. So then, but we put also some formal eligibility criteria, and at least in this year, the only EIC project will be eligible for this kind of support, and so applications are restricted to all Horizon 2020 FED schemes, Open Proactive Flagships, and also the EIC Pilot Pathfinder. Then there is a three, I don't know by heart if some national funding organizations for Turkey participate in this, because this Cistera, Cantera, and Flagera is a specific ERANET instrument, and this ERANET instrument is cooperation with the European Commission and the National Funding Agency. And the project that is stemming from this cooperation within these three areas is also eligible for the call. And we also added European Research Council proof of concept to be eligible, because there is a lot of breakthrough ideas coming in these schemes, and also we see a great potential to innovation coming from this proof of concept projects. So this is what kind of projects is eligible, and in total there are more than 800 projects that are eligible, and just it's not projects itself that is eligible for this funding. it should be an idea that is coming from this eligible projects, and this idea could be also could be also trying to commercialize by some partners that are not part of the original projects, but in that case they need to talk with results and intellectual property owners, and to make some agreements to be presented during the grant agreement signature, that they have all necessary IPRs to proceed with these ideas and projects. And still there is some time constraint, so project this FET related and ERC proof of concept project should end it after 22nd September 2019. Basically, not the project end shouldn't be older than 2 years in respect to the call deadline, or project started before. So basically, these constraints, time constraints, we had in mind that project that just started still have time to apply for another call in 2022, and it might be that at the very beginning of the project, the idea about concrete innovation, a concrete product for the market won't be ready. And regarding the applicants, so single beneficiary is allowed in this case, but not large companies. So it must be SMEs according to definition, and it must be from member states or associated country. If you have a consortium, then up to 5 beneficiaries. But if you have only 2 beneficiaries, they have to be from 2 different countries, either member state or associated countries. So this is basically the constraints for this scheme. So all source information, it's you should be contained in these 4 categories. So for program, frequently asked question on the funding and tenders portal, model grant agreement, and proposal template, and some additional source information. It's relevant for Pathfinder, but Antonios explained in details. And this is topic guidelines that the colleagues from Pathfinder prepare for each specific challenge. So the criteria and the proposal structure. So proposal structure, we follow the criteria, but this is a standard approach in Horizon 2020 as well in Horizon Europe. So it's going to excellent impact and quality. And comparing, maybe it's best to compare this transition with Pathfinder. There is some changes in weight, because in this scheme all 3 categories are weighted same. So there is no 60% put as excellence. So excellence, impact, and quality participate is exactly 33% in the total score, and a little bit more emphasis is put on the excellence and impact. This is reflected in the higher threshold, so it should be 4 out of 5 for excellence and impact, and for quality and efficiency of information, the threshold is 3 out of 5. So this might be the most interesting. So how transition evaluation process and timeline it's look like, especially in light of what was said before, that European evaluation process is a little bit scary. So we are trying to make it more affordable and at least more understandable. So for this, we will start with 22nd of September. So it's a call deadline, standard 5 p.m. Brussels time, and so all proposals should be submitted by this time, and the constraint is for section 1 to 3 maximum 25 pages. Then we will start with remote evaluation, and remote evaluation is very similar to Pathfinder. So it's going to be 4 experts assess each three different criteria, and then we will calculate median per criterion, and out of that you can get something from 11. In order to pass, you must have at least above 11, because this is if you just simple sum the threshold for 3 different criteria, and of course maximum score will be 15. And then within 9 weeks you should receive the first feedback. After that, we will start with the second stage. This is a novelty. The second stage is a face-to-face interview. So we are borrowing this face-to-face interview from Accelerator, so that you have this. Here we are mixing evaluation from Pathfinder and the Accelerator, because transition by its nature is in the middle between these 2 schemes. Then you have face-to-face interview, and then at least by mid-January we will receive the second feedback, and then we have to prepare grant in the next 2 months. So basically 6 months after the deadline, grant agreement will be signed. This is a little bit faster than Pathfinder, because in Pathfinder there are 8 months, and this is new scheme that and our rationale behind this, if you have this important business component, that it's very important to have evaluation a little bit shorter, that business opportunity will not be lost. And slide about face-to-face interview, because this is a novelty. So successful proposals after the first phase will be invited for interview, and we are considered to invite 2 times more proposals than we have budget. And then from the consortium, or it could be also one beneficiary, you can bring to the interview 5 people, but it's important that these 5 people must be mentioned in the proposal. So you cannot, for interview, you cannot invite people that is not part of your initial project. So this is important constraint. From the jury side, it will be composed maximum of 6 members, and we include 1 program manager. Program manager is also novelty in EIC, in Horizon Europe, and their main task is to take care about the portfolio of similar projects, and they will be especially included in these challenges calls. What applicants should do: convincingly pitch your proposal. So the interview should last about 45 minutes to 1 hour. It will be start with some introduction, and then the applicants will have 10 minutes to present the idea and the whole proposal, and after that it will be room for approximately 20 minutes for questions from jury, and opportunity for applicants to clarify their proposals. The jury will go with go, no go, without changing overall score. So after this exercise, face-to-face interview, within our budget for this call, the projects will go either proceed with the grant preparation and projects, or no go. I mentioned at the beginning some additional opportunity. An additional opportunity is that your projects can get additional EIC projects can get additional funding for some specific purpose, and this additional funding is up to 50,000 euros. And in case of transition project, this is for additional portfolio activities. And this additional funding will be granted after discussion with program managers or following project review. So this is if you and it can be used only for activity that is not mentioned in the proposal itself. And just to give an example of this portfolio activities, could be like some joint effort with a project that is working on similar topic like your projects. It could be some networking activity between projects from the same area that targeting the same market. Another opportunity will be submitting an accelerator proposal via the fast track scheme. I believe that my colleague from the accelerator unit will additionally explain, but just shortly here, this means that during your projects, it's some innovation will be shown that it's already mature. Then you can use this. Opportunity to go to directly to accelerator. But of course, in that case, you will need a company or SME, because the accelerator scheme is solely for companies. And then you will have opportunity to apply within the year, 1 year, and you don't need to go to this step 1 for accelerator. You can go immediately to submit the full proposals, and after that it will be evaluated like any other accelerator full proposal. So this is additional opportunity. And one slide about business acceleration services. So these services should support you with some additional activities that you will need in this, trying to commercialize some research results. And basically it's dividing access to advice, access to global partners, and access to innovation ecosystem and peers. I will start with this access to global partner because it was already mentioned by the introduction presentation that it's very important. And this is also part of this story. It's shifting from technology push to market pull approach. It's very important that researchers starting to at least to talk with companies to see what are really need of the companies, of the market, and that we can also shape a little bit their thinking about innovation and the potential of their research. But what is and then I will move to access to advice. Basically, you have coaching and mentoring, and you know that all EIC projects are eligible for this. Basically, it means that you can select a coach that will fit your needs, and then you will have, by current rules, at least 3 days, and it could be more if it's necessary to have a coach at your working with you on some particular problem that you need, especially regarding the commercialization activities. And then innovation training, we have innovation workshop and bootcamps, and we are working on more trainings. And this innovation workshop is like an introduction for researchers to different topics in entrepreneurship. And bootcamps is a 4 days training that you can start to preliminary validate the technology. It's also about presentation and classes from I would say the very well-known entrepreneurs and innovation related researchers that can help you in shaping your idea and in preparing your pitching deck for maybe for additional funding, either public or private funding. And the last axis here is access to innovation ecosystem and peers, because there is a lot of accelerator incubators around. There is also the European Innovation and Technology Institute with different key innovation centers. So this is all try to fit as much as possible the EIC within the innovation, not to disturb, but just trying to fit and to complement what is already existing regarding the innovation ecosystem. So it's trying to enforce and to fill the gap where it's necessary help from public investment. So this is the last slide, the last slide. So yeah, we can. I will have a question after the accelerator presentation. But I will, in the meantime, I will look at the chat and try to answer some questions immediately, just to get some on time.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Back to you, Fazilet. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. One thing to clarify, you showed a slide saying that only those who have benefited from a previous EU project can apply, right? Maybe we could sort of reiterate that and emphasize that a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah.
So this is a restriction for applications. It is only those when the results are generated by projects funded under these programs, right?
Yeah. And there is this time constraint.
There is also the time constraint. So if they have any free idea, if they are eligible in any other sense, but the results up till now have not been generated by support from an EU project,
at least in this,
they're not eligible.
At least in this year, we are. It's not sure that it's going to be same in the next year, but at least for this year, because as I mentioned, there are more than 800 projects, and it could be more ideas from even from a single project. So now for this call in September, this is a valid constraint.
Okay, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Then we will go ahead with the last chain, the accelerator presentation from Ms. Gabriela Mara. And then we will have the whole picture. And please feel free to write your questions in the chat box. We will be coordinating and moderating the questions as well at the end of the questions and answers session.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Do you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, great. Do you see my presentation as well?
Yes, everything is okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the invitation. And yes, my name is Gabriela Mara, and I am very honored to present to you this afternoon the EIC Accelerator, which is the third part of the European Innovation Council. So I will present you this new EIC Accelerator program. And I would like to start by saying that already from 2014, we had the SME instrument. It has been mentioned before. And this SME instrument was already giving access to finance for individual SMEs with high risk, high growth potential. And in 2018, we started the EIC EIC pilots, which includes already the accelerator, the Pathfinder, and the FTI programs. Yeah, and gives already access to finance to SMEs and startups, as I said, with high risk, high potential, and at creating new markets and disrupting the existing ones with a bottom-up approach starting in 2018. And of course, providing already services in the form of the business acceleration services for the beneficiaries of the program. So this is a slide where you can see what we have done during the 3 years of piloting. So we had a budget of 3.5 billion euros. Only in 2020 we had 1.5 billion euros for the EIC pilots. We have introduced the EIC pilot blended in 2019, meaning giving access to grants plus equity. And of course, it was we had a very high demand for this program. Only in 2020, we had 14,000 applications from SMEs and startups. And we gave special support for COVID-relevant innovations. 36 companies were awarded 160 million euros in May last year. Then we gave 300 million euros in July for Green Deal innovations to 64 startups and SMEs. And we also encourage women innovators, because at least 25% of the startups invited to interview were having female CEOs. So we very much encourage female CEOs in our applications. So the EIC pilot accelerator, actually together with the SME instrument, supported already 5,700 startups and SMEs since 2014. 293 were supported in the enhanced pilot. And already we have in the pipeline to award equity to 159 companies. And even though it is a bottom-up approach, at least until now, we actually finance everything, all the topics together. We see that the main thematics were 1/3 in Green Deal, 1/3 in digital, and 1/3 in health, including the COVID solutions. And we have a very good proven impact for our program, because our company already attracted investments from outside world in 5.3 billion euros were attracted by the EIC supported companies. We also have one unicorn with a valuation over 1 billion euros, and also 43 centaurs with a market valuation over 100 million euros. So in the new EIC Accelerator program, what we are looking for? So we are looking for startups and SMEs seeking to scale up high impact innovations with the potential to create new markets or to disrupt the existing markets. Also, innovations building on radical innovation, scientific discovery, or technological breakthrough, what we call deep tech. And innovation where significant funding is needed over a long time frame, and they are too risky for private investors alone. As my colleague was showing you this graph with the valley of death, so actually we are trying to cover and to finance these innovations that are in this valley of death, and where the private investors find too risky to invest at this point, actually. So the EIC Accelerator is for individual companies, for startups, for SMEs, and it is a continuous call. It's a call open all the time for applications. It is also for individuals that intend to start a company. It is mainly bottom up, but now we also have the challenges, the accelerator challenges, the top down in Green Deal and strategic digital and health technologies. In 2021, we have two cutoffs. Actually, the first one has already passed. It was on 16th of June. And we still have a second cutoff date on the 6th of October. Of course, you still have time to apply for that one, but we will see exactly how the process goes. So mainly blended, we finance mainly blended finance, grant plus investment, but also you have the options to apply for grant only or grant first. As I said, the applicants are mono beneficiaries, and we give finance to SMEs, yeah, for SMEs which have maximum 250 employees, but also small mid-caps up to 500 employees for rapid scale-up and investment components only. But it is also possible to have one or more natural persons or legal entities that are intending to establish an SME or a small mid-cap in a member state or an associated country by the time of signing the contract, or they intending to one person or more personal natural persons or legal entities that are intending to invest in an SME or a small mid-cap in a member state or associated country, who may submit the proposal on behalf of that SME or small mid-cap, and who have a prior agreement with the company. Yeah, so the contract that we will sign, it will be only with that beneficiary company. And also, there is also the possibility to have a natural person from a non-associated, from a third country, intending to establish or relocate an SME to a member state or an associated country by the time of submitting a full application. Yeah, and the company must really prove effective establishment. So the two components of the EIC Accelerator funding, first of all, the grant component. So you can receive funding minimum 500,000 and maximum 2.5 million euros. The eligible costs are reimbursed up to maximum of 70%, so not 100%, but the 30% can be added from the investment component. So there is this possibility if you ask for the blended component. Innovation activities supported should be completed normally within 24 months. And as I said, the small mid-caps are not eligible for grant, but only for the investment parts. And as for the investment component, you can have a minimum of 500,000 euros, and maximum can be up to 15 million euros. It is usually in the form of equity. And we are trying to have a maximum of shares of 25%. And normally it is an investment with a long average perspective of 7-10 years. So what support can you receive more concretely when you apply? Because you will have to choose in the system. You can apply for grant and investment. Yeah, if you need support for development TRL 5-6 to TRL 8, and deployment and scale up the level of TRL 9. This is for the investment parts. You can also apply for grant only if you can prove that you have sufficient financial means for deployment and scale up. You can also apply for grant first. So if your innovation still requires significant work to validate and demonstrate in relevant environments to assess its commercial potential, so at least TRL 5-6, and you can also apply only for investments. If you are a small mid-cap and you only need support for rapid scale-up of your high-risk innovation. So this is the timeline of the EIC Accelerator. It has been already mentioned before. It's a continuously open call. What does it mean? It means that you can actually introduce your short application at any time, because the call is already open since April 9th. And you will have the remote evaluation results within 2-4 weeks. But then the cutoff dates are for the full application. Yeah. So the next cutoff date, as I said, is October 6th. And at this stage of the full application, you will have to choose between open or challenges. You will have the remote evaluation results within 5 weeks. And interviews are normally 9 weeks after the cutoff dates. So as I said, we have the two possibilities, the open call and the challenges. With the open call with a budget of 592.5 million. So innovations can be in any field of technology, and innovations that cut across different scientific, technological, sectoral and application fields, or represent novel combinations. And also the challenges part with a budget of 496.7 million. And the priorities for 2021 are strategic digital and health technologies and Green Deal innovations for the economic recovery. So in regards to the strategic digital and health technology, of course, we are looking for innovative business models, new processes, smart products and services, which are globally leading technology and very important for European welfare and economic development. For instance, high performance computing, edge computing, quantum technologies, cyber security, artificial intelligence, blockchain, cloud infrastructure, Internet of Things. And in regard to the health technology, AI-driven early diagnosis, POC diagnostics, cell and gene therapy, biomarkers, bioprocessing 4.0, healthcare intelligence services, and e-health solutions. And in regards to the Green Deal innovations for the economic recovery, we are looking as well for game-changing, market-creating innovation, contributing to the goals of the European Green Deal and supporting economic recovery. Meaningful, of course, with a very meaningful impact towards sustainable development. They support the Green Deal implementation by significantly contributing to at least one of the following sustainability goals: climate mitigation and adaptation, clean, affordable, secure energy, clean circular economy, energy and resource efficient building and renovation, sustainable and smart mobility, fair, healthy, environmentally friendly food system, ecosystems and biodiversity, zero pollution and toxic-free environment. So this is a general overview just to have an idea of the June 16 cutoff. So we have received 801 full proposals. And you can see 375 in the open call, and then 203 in the Green Deal and 223 in the strategic technologies from 30 countries. We have received a lot of blended finance proposals, like only 72% of the applications were blended finance, and we have received mostly proposals from SMEs. And this is a graph who shows the keywords. As you can see, 267 proposals were in health area, 113 engineering and technology, ICT 113, and energy 73 proposals. And a little bit about coaching and business acceleration services, because my colleagues already mentioned that as well. This is a service that we were already providing to our beneficiaries since the SME instrument. So indeed, the companies, they have access to advice, to coaching, mentoring, expertise, and training, access to business partners, corporate investors, distributors, innovation procurers, clients, and more. And as well access to innovation ecosystems and peers. And I would like then to explain a little bit, sorry, it was too fast, about the selection process, because it is one of the novelties of the Horizon 2020. We have introduced our new AI system to assist us with the preparation of the proposals, but also with the evaluation of the proposal. So it's a different platform, and it is also a different way of evaluating, because it is a process in more steps than before, and it started only with Horizon 2020. So the evaluation step by step, as you can see, we have 5 steps. You go on the AI platform tool, and if you have a disruptive idea or a deep tech idea, you tell us your story and submit your short application. So this is the application that is open all the time, and you can submit this application in the platform. This application will be assessed by remote evaluators, and if you receive a go, you can start to prepare for the full application. So the second step is you start to prepare your business plan and draft a proposal with the help of AI platform and coaching, which is not compulsory, but is there for you. And then you submit your full application. Then on the third step, your full application is assessed by 3 remote evaluators, and they will have to give you also go to all the criteria of the evaluations. And then if you receive a go for the remote, from the remote evaluators for all the criteria, you will go to pitch your innovation during an interview in front of EIC jury members. This is something that we have already introduced with the enhanced pilot, with a pilot actually, and we have this face-to-face interviews in front of panels of jury members. And if you are selected, you sign the accelerator contract for the grant component. In the same time, if you have applied also for the investment component, you will enter a due diligence process and compliance checks. At the end of the process, you sign the investment agreement, which is different from the grant component. So this is just to have an idea very shortly about the application. So the first step, the short application, you respond to a set of questions on the EIC AI-based IT platform. You submit a 10-slide presentation and a 3-minute video pitch. It is very free. Mainly, you would need to present your team and the capability of the team to conduct really the idea into the market. And then in regards to the full application, yes, you when you receive the go from the short application and you go to the next step, to the full application, you will need to choose at that point, you'll need to choose if you want to apply for open call or for a challenge. And then, as I said, you will prepare a business plan supported by this platform and also with the EIC business coach. And then you will submit your full applications, your full application. And the interview, as I mentioned before, So the EIC jury members are serial entrepreneurs, innovation specialists, senior investors. So you will pitch your application in front of all these high-level experts. Normally the jury is formed by maximum 6 jury members, and you will have to answer the questions. It's a 40 minutes interview. You will have to pitch for 10 minutes your slides that you already have sent in the platform, and then you will have for 30 minutes to reply, to answer all the questions of the jury members who will assess. And if you are selected, as I said, you will sign the contract. You will receive the results of this process in 2-3 weeks after the interview. And just to say just a few words about the EIC fund, because EIC fund is also quite new. And this is the fund that manages the equity investment part in the startups and SMEs selected by the EIC accelerator. Yeah, it is a venture capital fund, and it is owned by the European Commission. And it bridges the equity funding gap at early stage. But what it does as well, it crowds in other investors, provides investment opportunities for VCs and other funds. So this is just my final slides, but I suppose you still have many questions. In regards to the information, of course, you can find a lot of information on our EIC website. There is also a guide for applicants where you can find all this information and more detailed information about the application and about the criteria for evaluation and the AI and everything that I have mentioned. You also find information on the funding and tenders database, AI-based IT platform. And of course, don't forget that you have access to the national contact points because we are always in contact with them. We give them a lot of information, and they can help you and they can bring to you information from our side, and they really can help you to prepare your application for the EIC accelerator. And of course, the European Enterprise Network, which is also which is a network with a lot of experts, which can of course help you to prepare this application for the EIC accelerator. Thank you very much, and I am very happy to reply to your questions now.
Thank you very much. That was very interesting, and all of the presentations sort of complemented each other very nicely. So we have the whole holistic picture. I do not really see any questions, but maybe I could switch to Turkish if you permit me for a while, and there could be some questions in Turkish. Sayın hocalarımız, sayın katılımcılar, Türkçe olarak da sorabiliriz sorularımızı. Biz modere etmeye yardım edeceğiz. 3 tane uzmanımız bildiğiniz gibi var burada. Pathfinder, Transition ve Accelerator programlarını EIC'nin tanıtan. Varsa sorularımız buradaki tartışma ortamında konuşalım. Aynı zamanda burada TÜBİTAK NCP olarak, eğer yanılmıyorsam Merve Hanım bulunuyor, bu konuyla ilgileniyor. Başka TÜBİTAK yetkilisi uzman arkadaşlarımız da var. Onlar da bir şeyler katkıda bulmak istiyorlarsa onlara da söz hakkı da tanıyabiliriz. There are some experts from TÜBİTAK and NCP representatives and some experts on the program. So if they would like to make a point, they're also welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tarık Şahin. I am one of the team members of the EIC NCPs in TÜBİTAK. We are working together with my colleagues, Ms. Merve Diyar and Ms. Merve Polat. And I would like to thank you first of all for the very fruitful event. I hope that we will have some positive results very soon. And I just wanted to say hello to everyone and thank you for your support because as our president mentioned in the beginning, support from the field is very important for us. We are only 3 NCPs, and supporting institutions is very important, crucial for us. So thank you very much for your efforts. And that's all. If you have any questions or if you have any things to mention to us, we will be pleased to reply. Thank you.
Maybe you can share your email address through the chat box, and if anybody has any questions that you would be able to answer, they could forward it to you.
Yes, sure, I will do.
Yes. And maybe do we have any EN representatives from Turkey here besides Serdal?
Yes, I see some people, some colleagues from different consortium, but if it's okay, I can provide a brief information to all the participants here. Yeah, I see some coordinator from different regions, from Ankara and Istanbul. My name is Serdal Temel. I'm the coordinator of Enterprise Europe Network from Izmir Aegean region. And as Gabriela just mentioned, that EEN is one of the key partners for the EIC program in your region. So whenever you want to get information about how to proceed application or any idea, any questions about application ideas or process, EN staff will be your side to support you from ideation to project application. And if you got the award, then we will provide some mentoring activities, which is in the future activities. But all our services are free of charge. There are 11 consortia in Turkey, and I see that mainly participants are from Istanbul, Ankara, and Izmir region. So for Ankara, ODTÜ Teknokent, İdil was here as one of the partner, is responsible to provide you services. From Istanbul, again, Sabancı University, where I can see a representative, but Hazret can also put you in contact with the organization there. And from the Izmir region, I'm the coordinator for Aegean region. If there is any questions about the application, I'll be very happy to support you.
Okay, thank you. There is one question about Sunum's Deep Tech Startup Support Program. We will be announcing this program as of August 1st, next month, or next week, rather. And if you send us an email with your email address, we can also send you detailed information personally, but this will be announced via our network and also through our social media accounts. Any other questions? That we have all these valuable contributors here. It would be very difficult for us to reach them, and they were kind enough to allow us this time slot. So we really thank them. We will keep bothering them, asking specific questions, naturally. So could you please write it down in the chat box? Is it possible to give any insight for the challenges for next year's Pathfinder program, says Serap Soytaş from Sunum.
Well,
who would like to answer that? Yes.
Well, since it is on EIC Pathfinder, well, currently there is, can you hear me, Fasilet?
Yes, please
okay.
Go ahead.
So currently the work program for 2022 is under consideration. So it's not finalized yet. So I cannot really make any reference on the topics of the challenges at this moment. But I would invite the NCP of Turkey for the Pathfinder to follow this very, very carefully, because immediately as an NCP, he will have information already on or when the consultation and the preparation of the work program is finalized.
Okay,
now,
thank you.
I also see a question: how can we find partners specifically for EIC
Yes.
Pathfinder inside Turkey? I think this is a question to be addressed to the NCPs and the Enterprise Europe Network in Turkey. So the colleagues from EN and the NCP, depending on how they cooperate between themselves, they can provide you with information about other actors who are looking for partnering. But I think Serdalis can explain how it works, no?
Yeah, and we also have contact details for Mr. Shahin from TÜBİTAK. He has just shared it with us.
Yes, I would like to comment first. We have some tools, but inside Turkey side of the question is strange, because we are generally having questions about how can we find international partners for our projects. So we have some tools for that side, and we are, as the NCPs, trying to reach other NCPs or other stakeholders in the target countries and trying to find some partners for the possible project consortiums. As far as I know, EEN has also some functions of partner finding. Maybe Serdal Bey would like to comment about that.
Thank you, Tarık Bey. Yes, we as Enterprise Europe Network, we prepare a profile, very short profile about your research idea and basically what type of partners you are looking for, and we disseminate it into our network. So in a couple of days, we got responses from different countries or the countries that you are looking for. For that case, you need to contact your local EN partner, and they will help you about finding the partners in very short time. I'm sure you will get the responses. It's very easy. Just that we need to prepare a short profile about what type of partner you are looking for.
Okay, there's one question here. Are there any application templates for the Accelerator Open that you can share with us?
Yes, actually, in the guide for applicants, you can also see the template for the application for open, and for challenges. It is the same application. It's just that you need to choose between open and challenges.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can find it.
And there is also another question by another participant saying, is having different countries and institutions for consortium supported? I think this differs actually according to the program, right?
Yes.
Because there were, in the accelerator, you could apply for the solo, but in the others, you had to have other European partners. So it depends on what the target is.
In transition, you can also apply. There is also possibility to apply like a single beneficiary.
Okay. And you also shared that there will be an EIC work program 2022 expected in November. Would you like to elaborate on that?
This is our planning to publish it.
Okay.
November this year, of course.
November this year?
Yeah, because it's for the 2022.
Oh, okay. Okay. Right. Any other questions before we thank our speakers? Can a company apply with more than one project to EIC Accelerator? That would be a bit ambitious.
No, it's actually not possible, because we check for the concurrent implementation. So you cannot have more than one project in the EIC Accelerator in the same time. Of course, if you finish your project, and then you can apply for in the investment part, for instance, or you can apply for another project, but not with the same topic and the same actions. But of course, you cannot have two projects with the same company in the same time. No.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, I suppose we have come to the end of our program. We really appreciate all of your contributions, and they were really very interesting because it's been almost 2.5 hours, and we still have over 100 participants, so that's an indication. We will be in touch with each and every one of you, and if our colleagues from Turkey, if potential participants are interested, we will also act as a bridge, as a team, to forward questions and interested parties. And we hope that we get some good applications from Turkey in the next months. Thank you very much for participating, for contributing.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting us, and we wish you good success to your next steps.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.